In the past 3 months alone, more than 250,000 Congolese have fled their homes in terror.
This place is an unsafe place because we don't have the possibility to move from here. It's surrounded by guns, by heavy guns.
Those who have fled often take refuge in camps like this. Many walked for miles to get here, and they haven't eaten in days. 20,000 people have been living in this camp for the past year, and in the last 10 days, more than 7,000 newly displaced people have arrived to escape the fighting that's taking place only about 10 miles down the road from here. Many of these people have been displaced more than 2 and 3 times already, and there's no telling if they'll be able to stay here for very long because the fighting's only getting worse.
Most of them, they have fled during the night, so that means they have left everything.
Fidel Bafilemba works with the International Rescue Committee. Aid groups like IRC have been overwhelmed trying to take care of the flood of displaced people.
Some of them have been looted out, others have been beaten, and others even they have witnessed their brothers being killed, so it's not been really easy for them.
Everyone in this camp has a story to tell. We heard Pascal Bombares. Pascal is 25 years old and a father of 2. He just completed his studies to become a school teacher and was picking up a certificate when the rebels came.
I was getting my diploma, and when I arrived, the war started. They were in camouflage. They were carrying heavy weapons on their head and back, with bandoliers across their chest.
The rebels broke into houses and loaded their trucks with food and furniture and mobile phones. When they drove away, Pascal ran.
I spent the night in a banana plantation where there was no one, without eating or drinking. And the next morning I went through a forest, and as soon as I got home I took my wife, and we came to this camp. Displaced 2 times in less than a year. What can I say?
Pascal and his wife Vestine had already escaped the rebel advance once and were living in another camp. They were forced to flee again. To make matters worse, Vestine was 9 months pregnant with their second child, Solange. Solange was actually born here in the camp, right on the ground where we are, only 6 days ago. And Vestine walked here only 9 days ago, completely pregnant. It's been a tough first 6 days of Solange's life, but where they're coming from was even worse. The UN has struggled to bring peace to Eastern Congo, a region of vast mineral wealth. This is where some of the fiercest fighting has taken place in the last month or so. This UN force from India is taking us on one of their daily patrols.
On an average, we do about 140 to 150 patrols all over North Kivu province.
Each day?
Each day.
Right. The rebels are right over there. Can I see on the binoculars?
We'll have to focus it.
Sure. At one point during the last decade, more than 6 nations were scrambling for Congo's riches. Some have called the conflict Africa's First World War. In spite of a peace accord in 2003, fighting continues, and many fear that foreign countries are still involved. Just over the hill over there is the border with Rwanda. The Congolese government has been accusing Rwanda of sending troops across the border and of supporting the very rebel group that pushed these people from their homes. In November, the UN Security Council agreed to send 3,000 more troops to Congo to try to stem the most recent violence. But the reinforcements aren't expected for at least 2 months. In the meantime, Pascal and over 1 million Congolese like him continue to live in hunger and fear, far from their homes.
What I lost there, it's so much that if I made a list, we'd be here all afternoon. All I'm missing, all I want in life, is just to see my home again.
I'm Michael Kavanagh, reporting for Worldforcus in Eastern Congo.